Hello everyone, today we're going to be continuing with our post edit form tests. We've already created a branch for it, did our usual get issue. Let's go ahead and let's do the post edit form stuff. I'm going to go ahead and close all of this and we can come over to our features, right click on post, new file, say post edit form.test.jsx. Now we're going to be doing some similar stuff to what we've been doing. I'm going to go ahead and just copy our imports because you're probably tired of watching me do these. But we do need to change this to a post edit form instead, like that. Now in my branch on my demo notes, I've already done a lot of these refactors. So I'm gonna have to go through here and sort of modify the tests as we go. So I do apologize if some of this stuff requires me to retroactively change what's been typed, like right here with the post edit form. So we'll do that. We'll change this to post edit form. We'll create a mock post, which we can use as our data. Oops, a mock post. There we go. So it's just a title and a body. We can then do a before each, where before each test we call fetch post. We mock a resolved value with mock post. And then we can come down here, and after each test we can go ahead and clear our mocks, just like we've been doing. And then we can do our first test where we say it should render the post edit form component, and then I'll go ahead and close this as well. So in here for this first test, what we want to do is just say, hey, this needs to render the component. So we'll do a, I don't actually know why it's trying to do this. We'll do a render for our component, and we'll do this up top here in a function. So we'll say const render form is equal to, and then we'll just return this render form again. Just because this is an easier way, and I already know we're gonna have to redo this a couple times, we can then come in here and we can do something like rendering our form, like that. And then in here we can, actually I don't know if this needs to be async, we'll just do it like this. We can do that. And then we can come in here and we can say, all right, this should do something like in a wait for. It should expect the fetch post to have been called one time. And then we can do something like a expect screen.getByText. I don't actually like this though. Let's get rid of this, and instead of doing the label text, I would rather this be a get by display value, and we want this to be mock post.title. And you can also do the body if you want to, but I really don't think that's necessary. And we can go ahead and click run here, or you can just type npm run test in your terminal, whatever you prefer. I have the extension installed. It's the React test one, or the JavaScript test one. You should be able to find it pretty quickly. And then we can go ahead and say, all right, this is good. Let's go ahead and let's do another one. So we've done our initial render. We now need to do one where it's like, all right, let's do a successfully updates the post and redirects. Now I don't really like having and here because that again is not best practice. If you've got an and in there, probably tells you got two different tests that are happening, but it's whatever. We'll do the render and the redirect. So let's render the form. Well, I don't like all this stuff, but let's render the form. We can then say, all right, we need to wait for the fetch post to get called. Our new post title, that's fine. We'll do a fire event.change for the title. Change it to the new post title, change the new post body. We then want an await act async for a fire event. That makes sense. And then we need to await for our update post to have been called one time. And it needs to have been called with one and new post. That seems fine. And then we can expect screen.getByText. Not redirecting. This should be post. I think post detail is what I have in my notes. I don't know if that's correct or not. But let's go ahead and let's do a npm run test just to see what this does for us. Now, sometimes I do like to run it both in the VS Code and in the terminal because you can notice that you get some slightly different behavior depending on which one you run the tests in. So here we're running into an issue. The submit isn't being found. So let's come into our post edit form and just see what this is. It looks like we are looking for a save and not a submit. So let's come into our test again and change this to just be the word save. Then we can go ahead and run this test again and see if this error changes at all. Go ahead and run this. And now we're getting a screen.getByText for the post detail. So unable to find an element with the text post detail. So this might be an issue where we have to actually come into our post edit form. So if our post detail is not being shown, my first thought is maybe we're not redirecting to the post itself. So if we come in here, we do the fire change, await async, await for the expected. And then we expect the screen.getByText post detail to be in the document. Then if we come into our post edit form, what we're actually doing in here is we're updating a post. So that's going to be our, wherever it is, our handle submit. This is going to be our update post, right? So this really shouldn't be handle submit. It should be like handle update post or whatever. But we could say, all right, we handle the update. Then we update this post, and then we say const response equals await update post, and it should be taking us to /post/ whatever the ID is. Now, in this case, I don't know if we're actually getting the ID back. And we can check if we scroll up, there's probably going to be another error where it tells us right here, cannot read properties undefined of ID. So the issue here is our test, whatever we're mocking, isn't actually returning something with an ID. So we're going to have to probably return something with an ID, or we're going to have to change how this update happens. Now, right now, the update's getting the ID from the response, but I actually don't think we need to do that because we already have the ID. The ID isn't going to change when we update a post. So let's go ahead and let's change that to just be a redirect to the ID itself. Now we've gotten rid of the actual error there, but we're running into an issue with no route matches /post/1, which means we're going to have to come over here to our test, into our route, and we're probably going to have to do a route for a post/1, right? So path post/ID with an element of post detail. Is that what we're looking for? Or is it post? Yeah, post detail. So we'll go ahead and we'll run a npm run test with this new route added in, and now we can see our tests are passing again. So that should be good because that cleans up this little ID thing, which was already bothering me, and it does change the routes to now work. So that's good. Let's actually run a npm run coverage just to make sure that we are currently covering a lot of stuff. We are only missing 2 lines, which are going to be line 19, which is up here. It's going to be the set error, and this is also going to run us into an issue. Because we're currently setting the error, we do need to console.error this. So we'll say failed to fetch the post, : and then we've been doing a space, and then we can put in our error right there. And then the other one's going to be down here with a failed to update the post with a error. I think that's how we've been doing it. So now we just have to do both of those tests. So let's come in here and let's do, I guess, the first one, which can be something like, let's just copy this line. This seems fine. It shows a console error on update failure. Not really the best test in the world, but again, what are you going to do? So we'll say we're trying to update, so let's do update post dot mock rejected value. And then we can pretty much put whatever we want in here. We just need to remember what we put. So we'll say update failed, render form, and then we can do something like our const console spy again if we want to. With a just.spy on, we can mock the implementation. I don't think we actually need to do that. We can just say just.fn, like that. Now we can do our render. Or actually, let's do our render form probably after the mock implementation. Just makes more sense in my peanut-sized brain. So we do the render form, and then after we render the form, we can do our await wait for. And then in here, what we can do is we can do a fire event.click. And we can do, I think the text was save, right? Save right here. So we'll save, click on the save button. We can then go ahead and close this. And after we do that, we can then say await wait for, and we need to say expect, what is it? Expect update post to have been called 1 times. And then we don't even need that because this should be good. And then after that, we can expect the console spy to have been called with failed to update post, something like that. So let's go ahead and let's run this. I don't anticipate a successful run here initially. So we can see here we failed to update post. That's our expected, and our received was actually with the error. So we do need to change this. This is where my notes have changed from what we actually get. So we'll go ahead and we'll do this. We'll do the string, and then we can do a error in the expectation, and then we can go ahead and run a npm run coverage again. Oops, this is actually failed to update the post. There we go. This is why I don't really care for these types of tests. They're incredibly brittle and they really aren't that helpful. But okay, we can now see we're passing that test. We now need to deal with lines 19 and 20, which are up here in our use effect for fetching the current post, these two cases. So we need to fail to fetch the post. So let's go ahead and let's do that. We'll come in here. We'll say it handles error when failing to fetch the post. And then for this one, we're going to do what we've been doing. We're going to mock the rejected value once with a fetch failed, a console spy. We then render the form. We wait for fetch post to have been called 1 time. Then we expect console spy to have been called with failed to fetch the post with the error that we initially expected. Now, one quick note, you can say const error equals new error fetch failed, and then you can just put the error in here, and you can put the error in here. And that should also work if we run a npm run coverage. Assuming we don't have any other errors, we'll see that we have a full set of coverage here, which is good. I just like doing this because this is like our, if we change this to expected error or something, it's just a good way to make sure you're only changing it in one place, makes the test a bit less brittle, and it just also makes it a bit easier to read. It is a little bit harder to follow initially when you have these variables because you got to like jump around. But once you figure out what the pattern is, where it's like, okay, they define the expected errors up top or whatever, then you just know, okay, well, I see expected error here, so I can reasonably ascertain that, like, if I do need to see what this error is, I can come up here, but most likely it's just whatever error they threw in here for the sake of this test. So, okay, we have our coverage. Let's go ahead and do a git status. It's going to be 2 file changes, of course, because we modified the post form. Now, if we want to see what we changed in the post form, we can just copy this. We can do a git diff for this specific path to the post edit form. And we can see we added the console.error, and we changed this to be a await response, or const response equals await to just be a await. And then we changed the navigate to be off of the ID instead of the response.id. And then we also changed this console.error bit to have the word the inside of it. So that seems fine and reasonable. Let's go ahead. Oh, and you can hit Q to escape that git diff. We can do a git add dot, git commit -m, added tests, and then we can do a git push, just like we've been doing. We can then come over to our GitHub repo, come over to the code, find that we have another branch that we need to pull from. We can go ahead and create the pull request. We won't add a description this time because we've done this enough. We can come over here and merge the pull request, and the code is now in our code base. So that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.